Hello, Pulin sir here again, welcoming you back. Right, we have finished with the first part of trigonometry. Now today we are starting with the second part. So here basically we'll be talking about the formula only, the relations. We'll not get into the problems directly. We'll be discussing about the problems once we finish with the detail of the formulas, right? Okay, so let's start. We have finished with the definition of ratios. We have talked about relations of those fundamental ratios, right? And now today we'll be talking about complementary angles. So that's very important. I'll be giving you today only. I told you some relations using the full form of the trigonometric ratios, right? So without much delay, first we'll start with, and then as and when we'll face problem, we'll be resolving it one by one, right? Okay, let's start. So first of all, do you know what is known as a complementary angle, right? Do you know what does the word complementary pair of angle means? So complementary angles means two angles whose sum is 90 degree, and at the same time both the angles should be non-zero angles, right? This should be acute angle. This should be acute angle, and definition of acute angle is what? An angle whose measurement is lying strictly between 0 and 90 degree. 0 degree is not to be taken, 90 degree is not to be taken. So any measurement between 0 and 90 degree is considered as an acute angle, right? So any two acute angle whose sum is 90 degree are said to be complementary of each other. So we are going to discuss the ratio of complementary angles, right? Trigonometric ratios of complementary angles. So for that, again, I'm just bringing with this particular visual aid, so which will help you to understand the complete process, right, in a better way. I'll be taking the board, no problem, that's not an issue, but first of all let us explain it here, then we'll directly replicate these things at the board, and then it will be easy for you to comprehend, right? Okay, first of all, you see that I've considered a triangle PQR, that is a right triangle. Right angle is here. Then this is an angle which I mark as theta. Last day I explained that why theta we considered. And then if this is theta, as you know that this is 90 degree, so some of the remaining two will be 90 degree. So the other one will be 90 minus theta. So in that sense, you can say that these two are complement of each other. So last day when we talked about the ratio of theta. We talked about the ratio of theta. And today we are going to talk about the ratio of 90 minus theta. We are going to talk about the ratio of 90 minus theta. Just see the figure at the beginning, and then we'll just comprehend, we'll replicate it in the board. Instead of considering the figure like this, if we rotate it, then this complement angle comes here, right? Complement of theta comes here. Now if I ask you to define what is sine theta for this particular angle, then easily you could remember, right? Sine theta is the ratio of what? Perpendicular, that is the opposite side, by hypotenuse, right? So for this angle the opposite side is QR, and the hypotenuse will be this. That means QR by PR will be giving you the sine of this angle. And now just bring it here. Think from here, QR by this. For this angle, QR is the base and this is the hypotenuse. It means the same ratio gives you cos theta. So what did you find? Just wait and think. Earlier you got sine of 90 minus theta as this by these things. Remember the color, then it will be easier for you to compare. Red by black, then it gives you cos theta. Red by black gives you sine of 90 minus theta. It means sine of 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. Got it? So now we are going to replicate everything in the board. Now it will be easy for you to understand everything very clearly. So let's start with, right? Let's begin with. Okay. So the same triangle I draw here. This is the triangle PQR, right? This is PQR. This is 90 degree. This is 90 degree, and this was the angle which I considered as theta. That time it becomes 90 minus theta. So when exactly we rotated the angle, I cannot rotate the board, right? So that's why I have brought this particular visual aid. So that helps us to understand the concept. Okay. So now, as I told you earlier means in that particular model, we have found what is sine of 90 minus theta. 90 minus theta, opposite side by the hypotenuse, right? Opposite side of this is QR, hypotenuse is PR. For a moment, if you close this, right? If you just close it, suppose that this is not there, then QR by PR would also give you a ratio, right? And that ratio will correspond to which angle? Theta, and that gives you cos theta, which I explained. So ultimately, what did I observe? To conclude, I conclude that sine of 90 degree minus theta is equal to cos theta. So that becomes a formula, right? So now you see we have related the complement of the angle theta with the original angle theta, and therefore sine of 90 minus theta is equal to cos of theta. Great. Okay. Now what do you say about cos of 90 minus theta? Supposing that somebody asks you cos of 90 minus theta. Cos of 90 minus theta. So same way you proceed. Cos of 90 minus theta. Cos theta is a ratio of base to hypotenuse, right? So for this angle, base will be this PQ, and then hypotenuse always as usual will remain fixed, right? So now again I would ask you to close this. Once you close this particular part, for this it becomes perpendicular, this is hypotenuse, so ultimately you can write this as sine theta, and you will end up with cos of 90 minus theta equals sine theta. So these two boxes what I have written are actually the formula, right? So I have shown you the deduction. Now the other deductions are not to be shown in the sense I am not going to show you, but I can leave you a hint so you can do it, right? How will you find it? Simple. Because you have to remember one simple relation what last day we discussed. Sin theta by cos theta is equal to tan theta. Sin theta by cos theta equal to tan theta. So if you want to deduce what is tan of 90 minus theta, that would be what? Sin of 90 minus theta divided by cos of 90 minus theta. Sin of 90 minus theta divided by cos of 90 minus theta. Now as you know already sin of 90 minus theta and cos of 90 minus theta, so you can easily replace them by the previous formula what you got, right? So what I can write here is cos theta, below it is sin theta, that gives us cot theta. What does that mean? Tan of 90 minus theta is giving you cot theta, right? So these are the three deductions I have shown you. The rest I can tell you. Supposing that you need for sake of 90 minus theta, then sake of 90 minus theta is just the reciprocal of whom? Cos. So you just take the reciprocal of this becomes sake of 90 minus theta. At the same time, if you take the reciprocal in the left side, right side will be also reciprocated, right? It will be also taken. So what is the reciprocal of sin theta? It become cosec theta. So sec of 90 minus theta becomes cosec theta. So in that way you can find the remaining two. Only two I did not tell you. So these six should be there in your mind, right? So because these are basics, again I am telling you. But again I will not propose you to remember all this. Do not remember. As I told you, I promised earlier, right? I'll be giving you memory aid which will be helpful. And I promise that you will never forget, provided you hear it clearly and you try to practice it, right? Okay, so let's see what the memory aid is. Already I introduced it while saying the complete name of the ratios, right? So now you will find a good relationship, and I bet that you will never forget that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to write all the 6 ratios with their formulae, right? And then I'll be talking about the memory aid. And again I am saying you that you never forget that. Okay, so what we got? Cos of 90 minus theta is equal to sin theta, and then sin of 90 minus theta is equal to cos of theta. right? The second, tan of 90 minus theta is equal to cot theta, and in cot of 90 minus theta is equal to tan theta. Then sec of 90 minus theta is equal to cosec theta, and then cosec of 90 minus theta is equal to sec theta, right? So here look at the pairs. That is the main part or the focus of my memory aid, right? These two are one, these two are other, this the other third, right? Sec becomes cosec, cosec becomes sec. Remember 2 points, and these are the points which will help us to remember this formula without any kind of problem, right? Remember 2 points with those full names of the trigonometric ratios. So listen very carefully. I'm going to give you the memory aid now. First point to remember, the very first point you are going to remember is that whatever ratio is there, that is going to be changed when we use the complementary angle, and when we make a change, either the ratio will be prefixed by co, or if already co is present, we'll remove that one and we'll write the ratio. I'll show you the example, then it will be very clear to you. This is the first thing. And secondly, in each and every formula, by the side of the equal sign, if equal sign is in the middle, if left side contains one angle, right side should necessarily contains the complement of it. And if this contains the complement of the angle, this side should contain the original angle. Meaning, if this is theta, right side of the equal sign should contain 90 minus theta, and if this is 90 minus theta, then this should be theta. Great. So these two are the points. Now you will be able to easily comprehend this, and you will remember forever. At no cost you will forget, right? See that. I'll concentrate on the first thing with reference to the complete name. First two are the relation between sine and the cosine. I'm talking about the full name. Remember, it's sine and the cosine. I'm talking about the full name, but behind the brain, behind the mind, I'm thinking about the short form cos and sine. Sine becomes cosine. Sine, is there any co prefixed here? No. So when I make a change, co should be prefixed. So sine becomes cosine. So sine becomes cos. So now, if I give 90 minus theta here, in the left side of the equal sign, what angle should be with the other ratio? It should be theta. Forget about whether you have written sine here or you have written cosine here. Only remember that both the sides of the angles in both the sides of the equal sign should be complement of each other. That's the first and the foremost thing you have to remember. And you can see here the ratio one by one. You see sine. Is there any co present here? Can you see? Nothing. So when you change occurring, then co should be prefixed. Look at this. Cosine. Read in full form, right? Cosine. Is there any co present here? Yeah, that's it. So when each change occur, then co should be dropped to sine. Cosine dropped cosine. So it becomes sine. Are you getting confused? Hope not. Second part. Tangent got changed to cotangent, means cot, right? Earlier there was no co here, and now presently there is co here. That's what I told as the first point. Either of the side, if change occurs, either co will be prefixed if it is not there, and co will be dropped if it is already there, right? Cotangent become tangent. Co has been dropped. Sec becomes cosec, prefixed co, right? And in cosec, co is already there, that has been dropped, becomes sec. And others are very, very clear. Whatever you want to write 90 minus theta, write it, no problem. Other will be theta. right? Great. So I'll be taking one or two examples, small examples just to apply, and then afterwards, after finishing all the formulae, then only I'll take up the problems, right? Okay. So presently I just want to go for two examples which will show us the application so that we will be able to apply it as immediately as possible, right? So supposing these are examples, these are not problems, do not consider it as a problem. Supposing that I'm giving you sec 37 degree, sec 37 degree, and I want to apply the rule, complementary formula rule, right? What was the two things you have to remember? First, check whether co is present or not. If not, co will be prefixed to the result. If co is already there, that will be cut. Is the co is there? Do you find any co here? No. What is the ratio full form? Secant becomes aage co lagega, right? There will be co preceding, so it will become cosecant, that is cosec. Second point, angles in the sides of the equal signs must be complementary of each other. So if 37 is here, what is the complement? It will come here. Complement of 37 will be 53. Great. So that's how you can write the results. You need not write all complete 90 minus 37, etc. It becomes puzzled, it creates problem, and sometimes get confused, right? So do not write this, directly write it. There's no harm in writing that directly, because now we can accept you that class 10 students easily can work out orally this simple calculation of subtraction, right? Supposing that there is a ratio, somebody tells you that what is cot 40, cot 40. Do you find a co prefixed already? Yeah. So if it is there, then in the right side, when you write the result, that co should not be there, it should be dropped. So if you drop, what will be the result? Co, cot, full form you consider, cotangent. Co has been dropped. What will be the result? Tangent, short form, tan. So we'll write tan. Great. Now what should be the angle? Same criteria, both side angles should be complementary to each other. Write the complement of this. What is the complement of this? 90 minus 40 gives you 50, right? So you're done with this, right? So now I'm sure that you will never find any problem with this particular ratios. I bet you, right? But just try to practice it 2-3 times, enough. You'll never forget in life, right? Okay, so before proceeding with any problems, I'll be coming today with another set of very, very important formula, and what personally I feel as a teacher, after teaching so many years, the teachers, students are finding these three formula much more confusing, because they find that they are unable to cope up with the complications, right? They get every now and then puzzled with this formula. But there's a secret, my friends. What memory aid I'm going to share with you today. I bet again you will never forget this formula. You might forget everything else, but these three formula you will never forget. I bet that. So let's first have a look at that, and then we'll deduce those, and after that I'll be sharing the memory aid. Okay. So first of all, see here exactly I do not want to write every side A, B, C, etc. very elaborately, because these proofs are rarely asked in the exam. So just for your understanding, I am doing that. So I'll be using the abbreviations, like for perpendicular I'll be using P, right? For base I'll be using B, etc. right? I'll not write any like ABC triangle, etc. So this is the triangle. Supposing that I'm talking about this particular angle, so obviously this will be P, this will be B, this will be H. Okay, fine. What is the important results which I can apply for a right triangle? There's a very famous result, right, which we are always applying to a right triangle with geometry or anything else, right? Got it? It's Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem gives us the relation between all these three. What will I get? H square equal to P square plus B square. H square equal to P square plus b square. Great. So now you have three quantities, p, b and h. Choose any one of them, because I'm not targeting any particular formula to deduce here. So I'll be deducing all the three. So I'm not targeting any fixed one. So you choose any one of the three. Let me choose h first. Okay? And then you divide both the sides of this relation by square of that quantity you have chosen. Do not ask why you are dividing now, because I'm not giving you any target now. Just let us experiment. What will you get? H square by h square giving you 1. Okay, p by h whole square I can write, and this I can write b by h whole square. Great. Now will that remind you something? Will that remind you something? Yeah, great. It will definitely remind you something. P by h is equal to sine, right? We write whole square. Then this is cos whole square. B by h is cos theta, right? So anyway, see the conventions. Now we have a convention. We do not write it like this. We write it in this way. Many students commit mistakes. After these steps, they might write sine square theta square. That's wrong. They might write sine theta then square. That can be also wrong. Not can be, that is wrong. Sorry, that is wrong. That things is equal to sine square theta. Careful about that. This I did not discuss in the first video. So I'm telling you. In fact, after finishing all this, I'll write that relation. Otherwise, that might be a loophole. Right? So you should not forget that. So the other part will be what? Cos square theta. So you are ultimately ending with this particular formula. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1 always. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So that is one of the identity. And these identities are derived from Pythagoras Theorem applied in this particular right triangle, and therefore they are known as Pythagorean identities. So this is one of the Pythagorean identity. One is done, right? Okay, this is the fundamental one. Now we have, as I told you, we'll do the same experiment here, but this time we'll choose either P or B because we have done with H. Choice is yours. Let me choose B. Let me choose B. Okay, I'll not rub this. I'll rub this part. I'll not rub the original results. This is here. Which particular results, which particular value now we are choosing to divide? What we have decided to divide by? It's B, right? So you divide both the sides by B. So it is h square by b square, p square by b square, and then 1 directly you can write it. Now this time we'll write the ratio directly, right? We'll not write so elaborately because now we are experienced. In the same line it will go. Only ratios will be different, right? So what you would like to write? What you would like to write? H by B. H by B is just the reverse, reciprocal of B by H. B by H is cos. So H by B will be reciprocal of that, that is sec. So it will be sec square theta. P by B is 10, right? So square is there already. It is 10 square theta and 1. So ultimately where do you land with? Yes, you are landing with 1 plus 10 square theta equal to sec square theta. So that is the another Pythagorean identity. Now the last one I'll write directly, but I'm sure that you will be able to derive it. What exactly will be the last one? We have to divide both the sides by p square. Then we'll be arriving at this particular one. 1 plus cos square theta equal to cos x square theta. Great. So I have boxed the ultimate formula. There are 3 formula which are known as Pythagorean identities, and these are very important, right? Now you might be thinking, what's there to be getting confused, right? These are very easy. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Okay. 1 plus tan square theta equal to sec square theta, 1 plus cot square theta equal to cosec square theta. So what's the difficulty there, or what part will make us confused? I tell you, during exam, most of the students, they are very clear about this because both the ratios are in the same side. But think about the other two. Ratios are cross connected, right? By chance, if you write 1 plus sec square theta equal to tan square theta, what would happen? And there's a great chance, as I told you from my experience, there's a great chance that in exam you might get confused with this, whether it is 1 plus tan square or 1 plus sec square. Got it? So I'm going to give you a brilliant memory idea, right? You'll never forget that. Guarantee, I bet. So you first write down, check the deductions. The third one you do yourself, and then watch this memory aid, right? Okay. So how do you remember? How do I remember? Let me just try to tell you. And I definitely appeal that for using the memory aid, for creating the memory aid, normally we use some words which may not be complying with the educational norms that all the students knows, because these are not written in the book, right? These are the small trick which we will use. So here also I'll be using some words which are not, of course, foul words, right? But it should not like hurt anyone. I'm not having any intention to hurt anyone by giving this memory aids, but I'll be using some words, right? So please use it only up to the educational purpose. Do not see the other aspects, right? That's a request to all the viewers, whether class 10 students or maybe some great big shots, maybe a big society like leader, or maybe anyone. So this is my request. This is only for the betterment of the students, right? So I don't have any intention for hurting anyone. So first one, memory aid for the first one. Anyway, first one never needs any memory aids. Everyone can remember it very, very comfortably. But even then, as a part of this, I'll be giving you, think about the word psycho. What does it psycho mean? Psycho means someone who is having mental problem, right? See, I'm not considering the exact medical terms, so do not try to decode it with what I'm saying. I'm directly relating this with the formula only. So psycho means something like mad. Okay, so psycho, if there is a person who is a psycho at a particular residence, a particular home, a particular family, what will happen to that family, right? Think about the situation. It will be disturbed all. So it means one psycho is enough in a family to keep it spoiled or maybe keep it disturbed. Fine. So my first memory aid is very simple. I'll write psycho aid. Here purposely I did not write the exact word of psycho. I do not need that. My main target is to remember the identities. Psycho. So this SI will remind you about sin theta. This will remind you about cos theta. This will remind you about 1. Fine. So you have traced out what are the ratio to be linked to it. Fine. Then next step. Award square power to each of them. Right? That means put square powers to each of them and bring it in a simplified form. If I put square over here, it will be sin square, it will be cos square, it will be 1 square. 1 square will be always 1. Next part, which is generalized for all the 3 memory aids. First to group, sin is plus, then second to group, sin is equal. First to group, sin is plus, second to group, sin is equal. So you got the first Pythagorean identity, right? Psychoic. Anyway, this is not interesting. The other two are more interesting, and of course, other two are only needed more. This always is easy for the students to remember, right? I'm now going for remembering 1 plus tan squared theta equal to sec squared theta. 1 plus tan squared theta equal to sec squared theta. Right? You'll never forget this. Right? For that, you have to just imagine a situation. Anyway, I'm preparing this video during the lockdown period. So I'll take a reference of that so that it will be little, I must not say practical, but it will little like what I say, something which is not usual take. Okay, supposing that because of the lockdown you are unable to have your food accessed, right, and there is complete cut of foods, you are not receiving any food from outside, what will be the situation? You'll become like eating anything whatever you are getting, right? So you are eating insects, and suddenly you find a place where there are tons of insects. How will you feel in that particular presence? Fine. So that feeling you have to bring, and then after that you have to only see with exclamatory expressions. Ek ton insect, right? You are getting 1 ton insect for eating, right? Now the memory, it works, and this is very like what I say, exaggerated statement, so your brain will definitely catch it, you will never forget it. Ek will remind you about 1, ton will remind you about 10, and insect, this particular will remind you about sec, and then previous whatever I have told that you have to apply. About square here, square here, square here. First to group plus sign, second to group what? Equal sign, right? It is here the most confusing formula for exam. 1 plus tan squared theta equal to sec squared theta. Great. So I think you'll never forget this. Now the third. Right? And third is little realistic. These days, if you find pet dogs, again I feel sorry, I do not have any intention to insult or hurt anyone at all. Pet dogs sometimes steal the sandals or the shoes if you keep it outside. Sometimes it bites, it destroys the sandals or shoes, etc. Right? That means I want to say that the dog can eat anything. Nothing that you have a Costco ball, tennis, and you are playing and suddenly a dog comes and he eats that ball. Right? Then how will you react? एक कुत्ता कॉस्को खा गया. एक कुत्ता कॉस्को खा गया. This is a reaction you have. These two words are only to complete the sentence. Nothing else. I am working only with the first 3 words. Now I do hope that I need not regenerate the formula. But still I'll write, but you can do it now. 1. Now this time, at the same time, I'll be avoiding the squares, I'll be avoiding the signs. You know, first 2 will be having plus signs, second 2 will be having equal signs. So plus will come here. Kutta will remind you about cot. So it will be cot square theta. Cosco, as usual, is giving you cosec square. Great. Now onwards, if you see a dog somewhere in the road barking on someone, you'll remember, "Oi, kutta, ek kutta cosco kha gaya." 1 plus cot square theta equal to cosec square theta. Somewhere if you find an insect flying, or maybe a fly flying, 1 ton insect, 1 plus tan square theta equal to sec square theta. Right? I'll not talk about the first one. So this is the idea how you can remember we can remember easily these three Pythagorean identities without fail, without getting any single thing wrong over here, right? So please do practice it 2-3 times and then mark that you have done it well, right? That's my success. That's my success. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you something which you have to do to your mind's eye that will again help you. Anyway, don't worry about that. I'll be bringing that particular visual aid next day. For this, what I'm going to explain now, actually I forgot to bring it today. Otherwise I could have brought this to you right at this moment. I want it, but unfortunately I forgot this. Okay, what exactly you have to do? Do you know animation? Right? Do you know one very important thing? Our mind is photographic, brain is photographic. What we see, we can remember, we can imagine, we can regenerate, right? We can reshuffle them to mind's eye. That's what you have to do. Do some animations with those formula and try to get new formula from each of them, right? Be very alert. I'm not telling you to remember anything. You only do these experimentations when you are little free. Then you'll be able to put everything in your habit, and then this formula will not be difficult anymore. In fact, you'll be enjoying with this formula, right? So see what exactly you have to do. What exactly you have to do. So to start with, I'll be taking only the first formula and then I'll finish today with this. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Think that these are in the screen of a television and these are individual entities. Think it. Sin square theta floating somewhere plus cos square theta floating somewhere equal to 1. Use your mind's eye. What will happen? What will happen if these things fly away from this side to the right side? Animate this going that side and see what happens. Rewrite it. That's the another relation which is in fact derived from this. People might say that you remember that also, but very sorry, do not remember that. Do not just make this particular a dustbin. It's wastage of thing to remember that what I'm going to get, because these are all derived from this. Okay, this also you don't have to remember because I have given you the memory aid. So what will happen if it goes this side? So you will be visualizing a formula generated like this, right? Fine. So you can see this through your mind's eye. Try to practice this. That's what you have to do with the other formula, which I am not going to do. Right? Instead, if this will go that side, what will be generated? Yeah, you will be left out with cos square theta equal to 1 minus sin square theta. These are all things you have to do from your mind's eye, mind's eye, right? It goes like this. Fine. Now one step ahead, you think about, do you know how to find the square root? Yeah, you know that, right? So do not be satisfied with this particular step. Do not be satisfied. Write the square root of that. If you write the square root of that, you will be getting sin theta equal to 1 minus cos square theta, and then from the second cos theta equal to 1 minus sin square theta. Right? So how many new relations you got? You got 4 new relations. With this there are 5. If I write them in a sequence giving numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I suggest you remember this as formula, then do you know how many formula you'll get for Pythagorean triplets? 4 from here. With this it is 5. There are 2 more Pythagorean identities. 5 from them, 15. We already got more. Now if somebody says remember all these, then this is unfortunate, and I say that it is not needed, right? So do not remember this formula. Remember only the trick. Do animation with your mind, right? Do it. I'm saying you will never forget that. So that's what I wanted to share today. I do not want to show you for the other 1 plus sin square theta equal to sec square theta, 1 plus cos square theta equal to cosec square theta, because I'm sure, I'm confident now you'll be able to do it. Now you'll be able to do it, right? So today what we learned is the ratios for complementary angles and these 3 Pythagorean identities. So anyway, I did not cover much time. I covered around 40 to 35 to 40 minutes. But even then, I do feel that we have done a lot of work here. So I want to give you a little relaxation now without discussing the problem. Today I'll go and I'll come back with the next video, which will include the ratios of standard angles, right? And then definitely next video onwards will be solving problems which are important for both. And I promise you that you will never face any problem due to this lockdown, right? We'll challenge this lockdown, right? We'll do better than what we would have done attending the normal classes, usual classes. Bye.